WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news. This is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. Joining me for this, cosplay episode of ParksCenter, we have Tyler.
I wear them front, and then I wear them back, and then I go inside out, and I wear them front to back again.
We have Rob.
On your left.
Oh, my other left, sorry. I'm never going to get this right. We have Chris.
Do you trust me?
I guess I have to. I did put you on the show. And we have Matthew.
With FIGMENT, you can see things differently.
I love this. This is so beautiful. Thank you, folks, for doing this. All right, kicking off tonight's show, the first topic to talk about the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This was been announced for a while now that it's going to be coming to Hollywood Studios, and it's what's replacing the Great Movie Ride. But now we found out that it is going to be coming to Disneyland as well. Which is something that, honestly, we really weren't expecting that much, or at least I can say I wasn't. This is going to be going back in Toontown, but before you start panicking about Roger Rabbit, it is not going to be replacing Roger Rabbit. This is going to be going on top of some existing cast parking back there, and it is here's the shot. That is going to be all new space that they're getting. So there is nothing that's really being removed for this, but it does seem like Runaway Railway, which originally was, I believe, going to just be an East Coast exclusive, is now going to be available in both of the U.S. parks. What do people think about this? Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal one way or the other, but honestly, I know a lot of people have been excited about this. I'm biased, I'm East Coast, but...
Yeah, as well. I'm also East Coast, so it doesn't really matter. But it's still pretty exciting that something is being added to Toontown without having to remove something else. That's what I'm really happy about. I don't like when products have to leave or events and attractions have to leave just to make room for something new. It's always, especially with Toontown, like how we don't have one over here in Walt Disney World. Having that still be intact over there in California is nice.
You know, I agree 100% with that. I would hate to lose something over there in Toontown, especially because it's like there's so much potential there. And so it's really cool that they're adding something. But I always wonder, like, they've cut so much out of the backstage space there. Like, how do they actually operate still with as much stuff as they've cut out of the background for cast members there? Because they've got all the stuff they did for Star Wars Land and the stuff they're doing here now, and they took out the cast lot when they made Cars Land. It's like, I feel like they got to be running out of space somewhere. But, you know, again, I'm excited that they're not, as we usually are talking about, that they're not closing something to open something. But it's also interesting, like, they're already so excited about this that they're ready to announce a new one before they've opened the one on the East Coast. So that's, I think, a positive thing, too.
Oh, something I wanted to add going off of that, it was also announced that the cast building, that's where they launched the fireworks at Disneyland.
Oh,
Toontown's usually what closes early for the fireworks. This may be a way to keep Toontown open to park close. And find another place to launch fireworks. I can't imagine Disneyland without fireworks.
No.
I can imagine that the cast building, or like whatever was in that cast building, is probably relocated. Or, I mean, like, unless they dig it underground or something like that. But I find it weird, like, when I think of Disneyland, I think, like, that's the original park. And I found it weird that something was announced for studios first, and then it was announced for Disneyland, when they could have said, like, oh, this is going to be at Disneyland, and we're building it at Hollywood Studios. I think, but it definitely sounds like it was a last-minute detail they were adding, is that it's going to be in another park.
Yeah, this does seem like a little bit of a rush job. I agree with you there. Moving on to a different coast, but the same kind of theme, I guess. Jumping into Hollywood Studios, we have got coming up on November 8th a new parking entrance for Hollywood Studios, which, I mean, this isn't exactly the most, I guess, exciting story, but this construction's been going on for a little while, and we did get this week a kind of a visible change because of some of this construction for this new parking entrance pathway. The Hollywood Studios film strip icons at the entrance have been removed.
Ooh.
You can see the dirt
Yeah,
pile
it
right
stinks.
there.
Are you that nostalgic over the film strips to an entrance to a theme park, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
mean, I
I'm
like
saying
it.
that stinks and not going into a rage.
Yeah, people get excited about just seeing the Walt Disney World sign when they're driving in. I mean, so I think that, yeah, there was something nostalgic and cool about that entrance, to me anyway. I mean, obviously it was aging a little bit, but I mean, they were updating it. But I hope they're going to maybe just do something else fun there. But I mean, right now it kind of looks a little bit dry. Not that you're right. I mean, it's just an entrance. Like all the cool stuff's inside, but it kind of like, that's kind of the hype of getting there is like, it's just kind of like the queue to a ride. I mean, that's what that is to me when you're driving in and taking all that in.
I'm with you 100% on that. Disney seems to be in general moving towards a lot of this much cleaner look of things. If you look at all the stores, all the renovated resorts and everything like that, it's becoming more streamlined and more clean, which to me just doesn't seem like Disney. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fun you bring that up. There was a story on the website earlier today about Panchitos getting remodeled, and one of the things that happened in here was a removal of a lot of the details. It's a lot cleaner, a lot more streamlined in here. Maybe they'll be adding some more details back, but it at the moment at least, it certainly looks like it's following that trend of just being this very clean, almost sterile environment.
It's boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just boring to me.
I booked Coronado
finding-
before all this too.
Yeah.
What I'm finding maybe strange is that it seems that Disney's throwing a lot more theming into the rooms and less into the ancillary parts of the hotel, like dining and shopping. I feel that I would rather have it the other way, to be honest. Less immersive rooms.
Even Disney
like that
Springs,
disconnected.
Yeah, Disney Springs though, like had that fun flair of the genie coming out of the top of the toy store, and all of those fun things. And now they've got a much cleaner approach with Disney Springs rather than what it was before. But we talked like Chris, you made a good point about like the shops. I mean, the World of Disney shop that just opened is a lot more. It's very nice looking, but like when I take my family there, we love to stay at the places like Art of Animation and things that actually have all of that flavor to it, as opposed to the Grand Floridian, which is a beautiful hotel, but it could be anywhere, and it doesn't have that Disney feel.
100%.
Probably a bad example.
Moving on from the removal of film strips to the removal of someone from film strips.
Nice.
Segue.
Johnny Depp is no longer going to be playing Captain Jack Sparrow.
Good.
This has been rumored for a little while, but we have gotten it confirmed by the Daily Mail at this point that Johnny Depp has been dropped from the Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise. This seems really interesting to me from a parks perspective, because clearly, if you've removed Johnny Depp from the films and you integrated Johnny Depp's character into the ride in the parks, what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to leave that there because it is indeed still a part of the history of the films? Are you going to try and add new characters in from what happens with Pirates after Johnny Depp?
Well, they've already started adding characters in. The redhead's completely different now.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be super hard to believe that they would start adding more people in. That being said, do we really need more Pirates of the Caribbean movies? We already have 5, and the last 2 weren't even that good.
The last one wasn't good because Jack Sparrow became the least interesting character in those movies. Like, in the last 2, he does just like nothing. I want to say he does nothing, and everything else was more interesting. Like even the new characters they introduced were so much more interesting, and then Jack Sparrow's just there to like ruin the party. I'd much rather have seen a movie about all new characters in this sort of mystical pirate universe than the same thing about Jack Sparrow. We could compare this to Star Wars. Like, get rid of Luke Skywalker. Tell other stories already.
Well, they're trying to do that.
But then people lose their minds when you get rid of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, they just did that.
You gotta come up with an interesting character. Not Jyn Erso, who's like, oh, we gotta go get some plans and my dad died or whatever. Like, you make someone compelling.
But Jyn Erso was only going to be in a one-off movie.
Spoilers. You know what? I would say
really spoilers that much.
I was kidding. We were talking about this. I feel like a couple of shows ago about the about Pirates of the Caribbean, and like that there is a lot more that they could do with it, and it could go deeper. I don't know that you go back and remove Johnny Depp from the ride or Jack Sparrow from the ride, because and it all I think is going to hinge on how well the next movies do. If you take him out, I think you leave him in there for now because it's what people know of Pirates of the Caribbean. I had a sad moment at work where somebody actually thought that the ride was based on the movie, like originated with the movie. Yeah, exactly. I wept. So yeah, but I mean, but so you know. Like, but I remember them saying that, like, Michael Bay didn't want to make too many changes because of the fans. There have been so many changes to that ride so far. But, I mean, I think you could leave Johnny Depp in there, at least for now, unless there's something amazing that happens in these next movies that changes everything. Or you take the animatronics for Johnny Depp and you make them all Gunpowder Pete.
That could work.
I feel like the next movie is going to be like Jack Sparrow's dead, or you think he's dead, and he left a big treasure, and then the new characters are trying to get his treasure. Like, he'll still be part of, like, the
One
universe,
Piece, but
like the
for
legendary.
Disney?
Yes!
And eventually he makes the post-credits cameo.
Yep.
Because Disney can't let anything die.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Except for Luke Skywalker.
Disney, I love that.
Oh, even he's...
And the Great Movie Ride.
Oh.
Right where it hurts. Nice job. Bring the
Speaking
room
of
down,
things
Matthew.
closed.
Yeah, speaking of...
To borrow a phrase from your character, I could do this all day.
Oh, gosh. Y'all don't even need me this week. You're doing it for yourselves. So Path of the Jedi is now closed, or at least a seasonal attraction, I should say, over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This is not Jedi Training Academy. That is a distinct, separate thing. This is the little video that is essentially, if you don't know what Star Wars is, you should watch this because it will explain it to you. Because if you don't, you're going to be very confused. I don't really see much of a problem with this going seasonal. Maybe they'll actually kill it. Maybe they'll actually put something worth seeing in that theater for once. That space has been a mess for a very long time.
About sound effects?
I miss Drew Carey.
Oh, no, that you're 100% right. It's just who doesn't know anything about Star Wars these days. It's, I don't know, 1/3 of Hollywood studios at this point.
Pretty
They
much.
needed to fill space, and they edited together a video pretty easily. It's a good video, though. Like, I actually enjoy it because it does recap everything from the stories, except episode 1, weirdly enough. Like, nothing of episode 1 is in that video.
Need to know about episode 1.
But
We're
but
not
it's
talking
actually
about Jar Jar Binks and midichlorians.
you don't see him at all in any of those clips that they show in the movie. It's fantastically weird.
You mean
But
in
it's
the
a-
film
it's a
that
good
they're
video.
putting out to make people interested in the series, they're not putting the worst character in the series in it? Oh my gosh.
You know what? I know those movies really well too, but I actually enjoy going to see it. But I think part of the difference was for me was I actually saw it in California first at their theater. They used to have Captain EO, so it had some of those effects going on, which added so much to it. But the storyline of like putting the storyline in an order that makes like just this amazing sense, I think is great. And I enjoyed the movie. It doesn't need to stay there at this point. But then again, like we've talked about before, if they remove it, are they going to put something else in its place eventually? Like if it's going seasonal, we all take that to mean it's going to close. You know, what are they going to put in its place? And you know, it would probably be better.
Anything.
Now, I
like,
have an idea.
anything could go there.
I have a thought. They have another theater that happens to play a Star Wars video. They could just move it to Launch Bay and the Launch Bay
true.
Theater.
Every 15 minutes?
I mean, what's there? A video that says, hey, we love Star Wars. Here's what we're doing now. But they don't have another movie coming out for over a year.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
I mean, I don't think they want to keep hyping Solo.
I was
There's
about
so
to say,
many
not
theaters.
after the last the last stinker.
There's so many theaters in that park, and it's probably I have to imagine that it could be easy to film a 10-minute short film and put it in that Path of the Jedi theater.
Yeah.
But probably not.
So, who
Speaking
wants to
of-
take it? Yep.
I'm sorry. May I? Maybe instead of a loose premise for the exit gift shop area of your outdated ride no one likes, how about fixing the actual ride? Sorry, what? Do people love Journey into... I mean, I know we did the
I love
Appreciation
Journey in Imagination.
I'm wearing the
fight you
Minnie
on that.
But maybe update or add in Dreamfinder again so that your exit gift shop area could be relevant again.
So, for those of you who aren't aware what we're talking about, WreckIt Ralph and Vanellope von Schweetz are coming for a meet and greet in ImageWorks. Because apparently that is a thing. Why?
Why not?
Cause
I mean, I guess.
Because money.
No, that's later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's number 7 tonight. That's.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
But I don't know. They just really need to fix up Journey to Imagination, give it a good update. I really love the ride, but they do need to update it. You're not wrong on that. I don't think taking out ImageWorks is what's necessary. Granted, WreckIt Ralph is huge right now, and they want to capitalize on that popularity, but there's so many other places in Epcot that could, have something a little permanent that hasn't had anything in it for years. I don't know. Are there any abandoned buildings
of things
that anybody might have?
No. Speaking of things that haven't held anything for years, I have a theory that the moving the meet and greet to ImageWorks basically means that soon all the character meet and greets could go to ImageWorks, which really gives Disney no reason to keep Interventions around. And as we saw in the concept art they put out for the Epcot refurbishment, there is no Interventions. So I'm thinking that this may just be the starting the migration of anything essential to other more permanent places so that the Interventions demolition can soon begin.
Yeah, I would say that they
noting real
probably
quick about that shot is that concept art is outdated at this point, but it is still representative of the fact that they were at least considering completely demolishing Interventions at one point in this park. And sorry,
Yeah, and I feel like
Rob.
No, that's right. I feel like they are probably moving toward, pulling out interventions. And I really feel like part of, and maybe I'm wrong on this, and I'm sure somebody will tell me, but with the redo of the Wonders of Life Pavilion, I always felt like that when they finally do kind of just destroy that middle part of the park to rebuild it, that a lot of those things can go into the old Wonders of Life Pavilion. Now you could put some of the gift shops in there or the meet and greets or those kind of things in there. But with the meet and greets that they have now, moving them over to ImageWorks, I was reading the article and it says that they'll be creating portals into new dimensions, which will include WreckIt Ralph characters. So obviously they're laying the groundwork to do more of them. Back in 1904, when I actually worked at ImageWorks, like the real one, the original one, it was awesome. And I felt like it was awesome at the time, but there was a lot more to do. I think in the ImageWorks now, some of the stuff isn't always working and there's not a lot to do in there and it's super empty. Like, I feel like they need to, make the ride better and maybe make ImageWorks better. That I would prefer that over an additional meet and greet. But no, I feel like that the ImageWorks we have now isn't the best version of itself, and so I feel like they're probably thinking we have some space we can use for meet and greets, but it's going to get weird, especially if they had like 5 or 6 different random meet and greets. Like, can we get like Nutcracker meet and greets over there maybe?
Oh my
Why
gosh.
not?
Can we please
I know I
not get
rented
Nutcracker
before.
meet and greets anywhere?
I know I rented before. and
Oh,
I'm
you don't
sorry.
want to
What do you think they're
raccoon?
going to be replacing Path of the Jedi with?
Oh,
Meet and greets! Meet and
Nutcracker?
greets till the end of time!
Please, no, don't stop. Just
I know I rented
Don't
before.
stop. You want
no,
to keep
don't
going?
and stop.
In all seriousness, though, the concept of the whole portal thing, it does fit with like the Figment comic books, in the concept that Dreamfinder travels through different lands, and it's possible that there is a portal and stuff, and that used to have that sort of photo booth where they like Photoshop your face in like someone else's thing, and that's gone. So that space is really just being unused. So the whole concept of putting a meet and greet in there would actually be a good idea and keep people hanging around ImageWorks just a little bit longer than they currently will.
Yeah.
But you need Dreamfinder to make that all make sense.
Yes. We need Dreamfinder back in the ride.
Yep. We really do.
Or at all.
Moving from just inside Future World to just outside of it, over in World Showcase, the
I've
Food
been
and
waiting
Wine
for this
Festival
one.
Winter Edition has started.
Well, this is going to
Or,
be good.
Disney likes to
yield our
call
time
it
to Matthew on this one.
Is what?
I said we gotta yield our time to Matthew on this one.
Yeah. Oh gosh!
I
So
have
the
he's
full
ready.
menus for the International Festival of the Holidays has come out. It's a long list.
It is an
So-
extensive menu.
I'm just
It's a
I'm
very
just gonna
long
kind
list.
of, for the sake of our YouTube audience, scroll through this a little slowly and look at some images. But Matthew, go ahead and talk about
Fitting.
things with this.
Okay, so the one thing I'm really excited about is the Chaim Holiday Kitchen. I think it's fantastic that Hanukkah and traditional Jewish cuisine are going to be represented. But here's the thing, folks. For you who don't know, sour cream does not go on knishes.
Nope.
Sour cream does not go on knishes. All you need is mustard, but mostly just a little salt. But what really baffles me on this one, regardless of the knish, it's supposed to be inspired by Hanukkah. Why do you not put the one food that Hanukkah is associated with? Latkes. Latkes, people.
Yep, that's
You can put sour cream on that. Applesauce. Fantastic. And it's not like they don't know how to do potato pancakes. They used to do it at the Scotland booth at Food and Wine. Fortunately, Scotland went away this year. But for Pete's sake, people, it's Hanukkah. Latkes. All right.
I can't believe I missed that too. I was writing that article and I'm like, yes, Jewish food. And then I'm like, but then you said they're missing one food, and I'm like, matzah, and I'm like, nope, that's the wrong holiday. But yeah, because I can't believe that's gone. I'm curious to see what the matzo ball soup is going to taste like. I want to see how Disney tackles the matzo ball soup. But can you scroll down to the refreshment post? Because there's
I'm
like
so excited.
turkey poutine, which feels like a bunch of ingredients they already have that they
the
kind
one
of
near
threw
Canada,
together on
yeah.
a plate. But it's probably going to be good. It does look pretty delicious.
This reminds me of a seasonal poutine they had at the Daily Poutine at Disney Springs last year. I had that. It was fine. But then again, I have low standards when it comes to food.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Except
You
when
know
it
what?
comes to knishes.
full
Mustard
circle.
or salt.
You know what I love is the fact that they have this cookie stroll and it literally lists it as a completer cookie. Like, that's awesome. Like a
Oh my
completer
gosh.
pin, but a completer cookie.
Collect
Like if
them?
you get, collect them all. You get the first 5 cookies and then you go get your completer cookie and then now you've done the whole thing. But I mean, do you like shellac them and put them in your little book and take them home with you? No, you're going to eat them. But calling it a completer cookie is hilarious to me. That's my favorite thing about this article, other than the fact that Tyler had to write it all.
I'm
like
excited
the-
about the. I'm excited
do
for the
love
Feast of
talking
the
about
Three
food.
Kings stuff. Oh, they have the biggest thing that I'm just really excited for is the fact that they're bringing coquito into it, and coquito is one of my favorite drinks. I make it every Christmas. I make it pretty much any time that we need to, and then also the food in general there is just really, really delicious. Just like from my Latin roots, like having that stuff before, it's. I'm really excited to try to see how that tastes.
Yeah, that shrimp dish sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys looked at the Disney
know.
Parks
I mean-
blog and the comments that were on there, but the comments on there were just tearing into Disney about not enough vegan and vegetarian options here. They're like, hey, great, vegetarian cookies, cool. Is there something else that maybe we could eat? And you know, my daughter's actually, yes. She's,
If only they had
Exactly.
latkes.
They have so vegetarian knishes. There you go. It's you could solve both problems at once, man. Wow, they should have called you, dude.
There was a lot of gluten-free and vegetarian stuff, but yeah, not a lot of vegan things on there.
Yeah.
Latkes, people. Latkes.
Latkes. I'm gonna go make some, like right now.
And for our last story of the night, talking more about holiday food, but this time from somewhere where it's probably not going to be nearly as tasty. Tony's Town Square Theater.
And not nearly as inexpensive.
Because nobody,
Oh, no.
when you think Christmas food, clearly you think Italian.
Come see what people are calling Italian food.
No, what the guide map calls Italian food. No person calls this food.
Oh,
I
that's
was about to say, legally allowed to be called food.
I mean, the FDA has not ruled it a harmful substance yet.
Are you sure food's not
I-
in like quotations around it?
Yeah. So, what's going on here? Yeah, we're making fun of the fact that Tony's doesn't have the best food, but there is going to be a dessert party-like thing at Tony's Town Square during the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, Very Merry Christmas Party event this year. Starting around 9:30 p.m. and going for, it seems like, about 3 hours or so. You can come and go at Tony's as much as you would like, picking up hors d'oeuvres, snacks. They've got Tony's meatballs there. They've got some sliced meats. They've got desserts, cupcakes, cookies, tiramisu. And then at 11 o'clock, you'll get access to a reserved viewing area for the Christmas parade. This seems neat.
Can I bring up something though on this that I think is kind of crazy? They only do this during the Christmas party, right? Which is a hard ticketed event, which you pay $100 or more to get into.
Yep.
Then you're going to take half of your time that you have in the park and spend another $100 to spend the other half of your time at Tony's eating cookies.
Yep.
I mean, it's great that they make these offerings and that people can take advantage of them if they want to or not. But like when I'm there, I don't want to do like a dining reservation if I'm going to be there for that short amount of time. I want to take advantage of the things that there are to do during the party rather than to go off for 2 hours within a 4-hour window or whatever during these parties. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
And
Now,
they
correct me
give
if
you cookies with your admission.
Yeah, that's what I was about
That's
to ask.
crazy
Yeah.
Like, I was about to ask, like, I haven't been to a Christmas party before, but they do give you cookies and like hot cocoa, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Yep.
That's a great point, Matthew.
That's why this is
So why do-
absurd. This is
I'll give you a
ridiculous.
completion one.
Yeah, you can get
I'm
that
sorry.
completer cookie. You can only get the completer cookie at Tony's. So if you want them all, you gotta go to the party, and then you get them all.
How much more or less is this than a Disney After Hours ticket? And
It
that's
is
the end
I
of
think
my-
about the
I think
same
it's $20 or
price.
$30 less.
But Disney After Hours is just so much
Comparable.
better than that.
Just absurd.
Yeah, it really is.
Everyone needs to be behind a velvet rope. I don't get it.
This
You'll
is
find me in the
$26
riffraff.
cheaper than a Disney After Hours ticket. There we go. There's the answer.
It's already an exclusive event. You have to make it more exclusive to the exclusive event. Like, what is going on
Yeah.
It's like the
Because
steakhouse.
everyone needs to feel like they're better than everyone.
Yep.
Well, I've already spent enough money trying to get into this holiday party, so I don't really think I need to spend another $100 just to eat some cruddy cookies at Tony's.
Agree.
And get a slightly better view of the less crowded parade.
Yes, exactly.
Although I did hear they're going to serve knishes, so
There better not be sour cream.
There's sour cream
all over them.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
before Matthew has another Knish conniption here, I'm gonna close this show off for the night. Thank you all for joining us. If you are watching this and would like to get this in audio form, we do exist as a podcast. Go search for ParksCenter wherever finer podcasts are sold, and you should be able to find us relatively easily. If you are listening to the audio version of this and would like something a bit more visual, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/WDWNT. Check us out there and subscribe to us so that you can get notifications when we go live, which is every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come check us out there or at wdwntunes.com. You can go there and chat along with us. If you are listening live, we do not have a post show this week. We figured you folks have some Halloween activities that you'd like to get to, so we'll let you get on to them. But most weeks we do have a live post show where we chat with our WIGS members, which is what we call our patrons. You can become one of them over at patreon.com/WDWNT. And for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to the entire podcast backlog, our post shows, other exclusive shows like See You Relate with Tom Corliss, and a bunch of other great content. So I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't already. And with that, that's going to do it for this week. We will see you next week. Have a good night, folks.
Latkes!